We've learned his running mate, J.D. Vance, once despaired the teachers union president for pushing policy when she doesn't have biological children. And RFK Jr. allegedly cut off the head of a whale with a chainsaw. To be fair, we learned about the whale and the chainsaw after Trump named RFK co-chair of his transition committee. But Trump's antics aren't just hurting Trump or Trump's decisions. See if you call them antics, that's up to you. Take, for example, the crucial Senate race in Texas. New polling from the University of Houston shows Republican Senator Ted Cruz now with a 2-point lead over Democratic challenger Congressman Colin Allred. Back in January, the same polling had Cruz up 9. Senator Cruz is with us now, member of the Judiciary and Foreign Affairs Committee from Tyler, Texas. It is good to see you, sir. Thank you. I don't know any other way to ask this but directly. Is Donald Trump becoming a drag on Republicans?
No, I don't think so at all. I think Donald Trump is going to win in November, and I think we're going to see Republicans take the Senate, and I think we're going to win the House. Look, we're right now at a moment where Kamala Harris is enjoying a sugar high. She has been named as the nominee without a single Democrat voting for her for president, but she's been named as the nominee, and for a month, the media has been doing a relentless propaganda, billions of dollars of propaganda trying to prop her up. And that entire month, Kamala Harris has done 0 media interviews. She's done 0 press conferences. Their strategy is they take her to a basement, I guess Joe Biden's basement, where they kept him, and they hide her from ever answering a question. And Leland, the reason they do that is because Kamala's record is terrible. Kamala's record has been a disaster for the American people. I think most elections are decided by the very simple question, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And I think for just about every American, the answer is no. And so my view at the top of the ticket, Donald Trump, the path to victory is focus on the issues, focus out on people's lives. We were doing much, much better when Trump was president. And in my race here in Texas, it's the exact same issue. My opponent, Colin Allred, a very, very liberal Democrat congressman, is doing Kamala Harris's exact same strategy. He's hiding in the basement. He does almost no media interviews. It's been 63 days since Colin Allred has done a press conference. I've done 12 press conferences in that same period of time.
Fair
reason is the same.
Senator.
They hide from the press because they can't defend the record.
We've made that point over and over and over again about Kamala Harris, and it is a very valid one. The fact of the matter, though, is it's working. And Republicans have yet to seem to find a way to counter it. Why is that?
Well, look, I think the way to counter it is to focus on the issues and focus on substance. So on the border, Kamala Harris spent 4 years as the border czar, and the border is a disaster. It's the #1 issue in Texas. It's the #1 issue in the country. Kamala Harris is responsible for an invasion at the southern border of 11.5 million illegal aliens. Colin Allred, my opponent, has voted repeatedly in favor of those open borders, and yet both of them now are running campaign ads pretending to be tough on the border. Suddenly, yesterday, Kamala Harris suddenly decided she was for a border wall, despite saying over and over and over again she would never support it. Colin Allred, my opponent, is running ads right now in Texas.
The border wall at one point was un-American. Right, the border wall was un-American. I get all that. I get all that. But I keep hearing from Republicans, and I've heard it since the first week that Kamala Harris became coronated as the nominee, that this sugar high was going to end. I'm not asking you about the issues. I'm asking you, how are Republicans going to get a win and change the conversation when so far, for 40 days, you all have been unable to?
Yeah, look, it's incumbent on the Trump campaign to focus on the issues, on how people's lives are worse off under Kamala Harris than they were under Donald Trump. Under Donald Trump, we had record prosperity. We had, after the 2017 tax cuts, we had the lowest unemployment in 50 years. We had the lowest African-American unemployment ever recorded, the lowest Hispanic unemployment ever recorded. We had millions of people coming off food stamps and coming into prosperity. We also secured the border. I worked hand in hand with Donald Trump. We produced the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. The record of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Colin Allred has been disastrous for millions of Americans. You know, I've joked, unless you happen to be a big tech billionaire or a Mexican drug lord, and by the way, if you're either one of those, if you're a Mexican drug lord, you should definitely vote for Kamala Harris because she has made you billions of dollars. It's been incredibly good for you. But if you're a working family inflation, crime, the invasion at the border, every one of those has been a failure. And so the Trump campaign, I think, needs to focus on those. And I can promise you in Texas, that's what I'm focused on, is laying out the difference between my record of producing results and Colin Allred's extreme left-wing record that is hurting Texans.
And I want to be fair where we can be. We've asked Colin Allred to come on a number of times. He refuses to.
Yeah.
You are often nice enough to give us time, which we are grateful for, and come on and have a discussion. And Allred has a long history of dodging the press. We have one of those moments. Take a listen.
You're on federal property. You can't do this here.
Congressman Allred, do you regret calling for the release of millions of dollars to Hamas? Do you regret voting against Iron Dome funding as Hamas attacked Israel with rockets aimed at civilians?
You're on federal property. Stop doing this.
Why are you supporting Biden's open border policies?
We'll get the Capitol Police for you.
I don't know what being on federal property has to do with it, but the point is the same. Kamala Harris, Colin Allred, most Democrats right now are running the same kind of campaign because they can. You made the point just now that it is incumbent on the Trump campaign and on Donald Trump to talk about the issues, as you just have very articulately done. But he's not doing that. He's talking about wind turbines and Jesus counting votes in California. GOP billionaire donor Eric Levine, via Jewish Insider, the Trump campaign proudly announced that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard are being added to his transition team. It's hard to imagine a more self-destructive announcement. At what point do Republicans need to worry that Donald Trump is not doing the very things that you just said he needs to be doing?
Well, let me say a couple of things. One, I can't let that clip you just played of Colin Allred go by without observing. What he said there was utter nonsense. This is federal property. I'm going to call the Capitol Police. He's at the U.S. Capitol. Every day in the U.S. Capitol, there are reporters everywhere that ask you questions. I answer probably 50 questions from a reporter every day in the Capitol. And so the bizarre idea, I'm going to send henchmen to lock you up. How dare you ask me a question? That's just weird, Leland. You spent time at the Capitol. You know what I'm saying is true, but it is an example. And listen, that's exactly what Kamala Harris is doing as well. I will say on your second point, the question you asked, I disagree with that comment. I actually think Bobby Kennedy endorsing Donald Trump is a really good thing. It's a big development. You look at Kennedy right now, he was polling anywhere between 3% and 6% in the swing states. The overwhelming majority of those Kennedy voters view Donald Trump as far preferable to Kamala Harris. So I think that endorsement alone could be worth 1 to 2 points in the swing states. That's a big deal. And I think a lot of the media trying to poo-poo it are diminishing what is unquestionably a good win. I also thought Tulsi Gabbard's speech endorsing Donald Trump, she's a veteran. She cares about veterans. She's been a Democrat her whole life. She was a Democrat congresswoman. I thought that was really powerful, that Trump is fighting for the men and women of the military, and that Kamala's record on the military is disastrous. You look at the catastrophic withdrawal from Afghanistan, 13 dead servicemen and women, which neither Kamala or Joe Biden even bother to acknowledge. It's powerful, and so I thought both of those were really significant and positive for the Trump campaign and positive for Republicans nationally.
All right. Senator, enjoy the Labor Day weekend. We always appreciate you taking time with us. As we mentioned, from Mr. Allred, Congressman Allred wants to come on. He's always welcome. Thanks, Senator. We appreciate it.
Leland, thank you very much. And let me encourage folks, go to our website. It's tedcruz.org, tedcruz.org. I need your support. It's a two-point race. It is a two-point race. We've had 2 polls that show it as a 2-point race, and Chuck Schumer is spending over $100 million trying to beat me, so I need you to come to tedcruz.org. It's coming right now. It's tedcruz.org.
All right, you got it in. It's good to see you, sir. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Leland. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.